Hi, it's Mika, and I'm back with another segment of my favorite Freaky Friday. So today I wanted to talk about the amazing Marilyn Monroe. Uh, there's a lot that people don't know about Marilyn Monroe that I have found out in some strange ways, but I am going to explain some of my abilities to you so you understand me a little bit better and don't think I'm a total wackadoo. I actually have grown up being clairaudient and clairsentient. I am a medium. And I've accepted all of the strange experiences that I've had in my life. It's the other people that don't know how to react to the things that I say or what I see or what I hear. And quite often people are excited to hear what I have to say. So it's not like it's a bad thing always, because it's not. It can be very interesting to hear someone say something about someone and then they say something like soon after I just heard something and completely validate everything that I just hearing. Kind of weird like that, but it's kind of cool at the same time. Okay, so Marilyn Monroe. I get the feeling she doesn't even want to be called Marilyn Monroe. I get the feeling that as a child she hated the name Norma. I get the feeling that she wanted to be called Jean. A resounding yes, I'm hearing. That she loved Jean Harlow. Wanted to be like Jean Harlow. I get shown an image of Jean Harlow walking down a carpet, and she's there with her mother. Her mother's on the left, she's on the right, and she's actually able to see her in the flesh. And watching her on TV, or not TV, in the movies, like practically front and center in a movie, and being able to see, well, it looks like a TV. I don't know quite how to explain it. It's not really the same thing. It looks like it's a little bit shorter and longer. It's not like a normal TV, but she's able to see these little films of something. And she's just exuberant and excited, and she's decided, that's what I want to do. Marilyn actually went by Norma Jean to a lot of people, and I think to her friends, her closer friends called her Jean, because they knew that she didn't like being called Norma. And she had a hard time trusting anyone. She, her mother unfortunately dealt with mental illness and had to be put into a place to deal with her mental illness, and had to send this young Norma Jean to go stay in a foster home. And unfortunately in the foster home, she was molested, and she went into an orphanage for a period of time, went back into foster care, went all through foster care. She did find some friends here and there that she could confide in, but she was still very scared and very timid. At the age of 15, she was married to James Doherty, and he was older than she was, and he ended up having to go off. He was in to go off to war, essentially. And she was left stateside, and she was working in a factory. She was discovered, by someone who is taking photos of the factory, of women working in the factory. You know that old iconic sign of "you can do it," and it's a woman with her hair pulled back. You know, it's that kind of idea with that. You know, strength of femininity, and that's what he saw in Marilyn. Besides the fact that she's actually quite beautiful. And so she started actually in a modeling career. She didn't feel like she was really should be a model, but you know, it was money coming in and she needed the money. So that is how her career got launched, is because people were starting to see her images, and she was doing more kind of the cheesecake, little, like, you know, kick the leg back, and so you didn't see a lot of skin or anything. You just saw this, you know, beautiful feminine figure. And eventually she was actually asked to pose nude, and she did. And she did it to pay the bill, to pay a bill for her car. She needed her car fixed. This is the only reason why she did it. And she, you know, she did what she needed to do in order to pay the bills, in order to get by. You know, it's sort of, you know, part of the course. You know, she wasn't really thinking about how it would affect her career. It was, I need to get my car fixed. I need to be able to go from point A to point B, and I can't go from point A to point B because something's wrong with my car, and I need the money to fix my car. Pretty simple. You know, here's this lovely, vivacious, beautiful woman who is, you know, rising in stardom quickly, and you know, feeling like she completely deserves it because she, you know, idolizes these actors that she's getting to work with, like Laurence Olivier and the great Clark Gable. And in fact, her mother used to have a photo of a man that she said was her actual biological father, and the photo looked very much like Clark Gable. Not Clark Gable, but looked a lot like him. And so apparently when Norma Jean, as a little girl, when she did have access to that photo, would talk to the photo. And when she didn't have access to that photo, she would imagine Clark Gable as her father and being able to talk to him. And you know, the next thing you know, she's in an actual movie with Clark Gable, and apparently during the filming of the movie, she got a little giddy and she got a little silly and she messed up a little bit. But you know, here she is, and she actually brought into her life Clark Gable because she was thinking about him so much as a father figure, which I find very interesting. So if you're into LOA, Law of Attraction, like I am, I find that very interesting. I also find it very interesting that she was so focused on the movies and loved the movies and brought it into her life. Although I think that she felt like she somehow didn't deserve it because she didn't work for it, because everything happened kind of quickly for her. But at the same time, the way things were working then, they told, you know, they kind of picked on her, and she was bullied not just in her childhood, but, you know, Hollywood execs were picking on her, saying she doesn't even have a chin. You know, so she apparently, when she had some work done and change her facial structure around. I mean, I as well, I know how difficult the industry is. I struggled for years. I found new avenues of things that I love doing, like teaching and spirituality and law of attraction. So I found other ways to kind of enjoy my life and earn money doing what I love doing. So, I mean, if acting were to ever roll back around for me again, I'd be all about it. I'd be really super excited. Because like Marilyn, I wanted to do things that I love doing. And, you know, I think, you know, is part of that artistic element. It doesn't matter if you're an artist as a painter or a drawing or photography or acting or building sets for the theater. I think sometimes we get really hard on ourselves and we strive for perfection. And I think that for a lot of people, Marilyn Monroe was that perfection of femininity, of beauty. And I think the fact that she had been changed and manipulated into something that she wasn't really, you know, didn't feel right about it, because she had to bleach her hair. She had to do different things to her hair to tone it to the right color. It went through different stages and different colors because her hair is a little bit darker, kind of like mine. And it, you know, it ended up processing down to a very, very light platinum blonde. And at that time, you know, they didn't have Olaplex. They didn't have, you know, all the wonderful treatments that we have now to repair our hair. So, you know, just imagine how that would feel on your head and how that would kind of hurt your head. When I think about Marilyn Monroe, every time I do, I get like this feeling right in here in my head, like being conked or something. You know, I don't know why, but I get that feeling. And then the left side of my head starts going ding, 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 ding. It's just a weird thing that happens. But I have had some strange dreams about Marilyn Monroe, so let me get right to that. Okay, so here's what's so strange. Okay, so I'm sitting in a car in the back seat of a limo, and I have a man on this side and a man on this side, and there's two men on the other side, and they're all staring at me. And one is very stern over on this side, saying, "You better not say anything." And I'm sitting there like, well, you know, I'm just taking off the shoe, just rubbing my foot a little bit. Oh, my foot aches, I'm sorry. And feeling something very sharp, and I realized that the man that was sitting on the other side of me has stuck something, a needle, into my foot, is injecting something into my foot. And feeling my leg fall down and just, you know, feeling very woozy and weird and feeling like everything is spinning. And kind of waking up as someone is carrying me back into my house. I'm recognizing my house as people are carrying me, and I'm starting to come to a little bit, and I'm crying and I'm upset and not knowing quite what to do, but feeling helpless and not being able to move for some reason, and being put, you know, face down on my bed and trying to make it look like, you know, it's a very strange dream, I know. And when I do have that, it's very fragmented and kind of surreal, and it doesn't feel like I'm watching a movie. Again, it's one of these things where I feel like it's actually happening to me. So that's my Marilyn Monroe dream. I've only had several dreams in which I look into a mirror and I don't see myself. I see myself as the amazing Marilyn Monroe, and it feels very strange and very surreal, because I'm looking at my face and I'm practically picking everything apart. I'm putting all these different creams on my face and trying to have curlers in my hair, and I'm, you know, setting them up in these little pink curlers so that I get the right curl that I want. But, you know, when doing that, it's this feeling of getting ready to put on an appearance. It's nothing that, even when looking at myself in the mirror, I know it's not me because I'm dreaming about someone else, but it's this feeling of, it's almost like a feeling of dread of having to go out into the world and deal with it. And not really wanting to, and just wanting to stay in my space, and just wanting to be home and relax and kick back and maybe watch TV, right? So another dream that I've had, oh, I'm sorry, the dog is starting again. Come here. That she wanted to get a dog. She'd always wanted a pet. I've actually had a dream of being on a very old-fashioned phone and saying, you know, I think the Shiba Inus are so cute. And then thinking, oh, but Huskies are lovely too, but they're so energetic and I don't know if I can do that. So that's another interesting dream that I've had, is just being on the phone, talking with a friend, talking about dogs, talking about their children, hearing someone talking about Eliza, which is a little girl, and just laughing at this, because Eliza had run through the house practically naked and was pulling scarves all over the place or something. But we're talking about a little toddler, so don't let your mind go there. And I wish that I could somehow validate some of these dreams that I've had with something that maybe actually happened, and if anyone knows anything, that would be super, super cool to let me know and, you know, twist it here. Some of the other strange dreams that I've had, putting on makeup, that primping while my hair is up in curlers, and singing, just walking around and just singing little tunes, little silly, you know, humming little silly tunes, and just having fun with it. Other dreams with Marilyn Monroe in it have been being very upset and very wondering what is going on, and feeling very stuck, and being very scared, and being very angry at how could someone lie to me to this degree, and why set me up for this kind of difficulty in my life. My life has already been difficult enough. I don't want to deal with this, but I have to. Why did you do this to me now? I'm finally in a house that I love, and I'm trying to make things happen for myself, and how could you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Why did you break my heart so much? And there's just this really heavy feeling in my heart of being really mad. Don't you know who I am? And to be made to feel so insignificant by someone in politics who just makes me feel like I'm nothing, and I'm unimportant, and I'm stupid, and I don't know anything about what I'm talking about. But they're scared because I'm right. highly believe that Marilyn Monroe was actually gaining not necessarily power, but was becoming more enlightened by her studies. And she wasn't just studying about acting, she was studying psychology, she was studying spirituality, she was studying religion, she was studying so many different things. And she was really wanting to prove herself as being smart and educated, even though maybe she didn't have the education collegiately or scholarly in school so much, but that she was able to educate herself and teach herself things more than she probably would have actually learned in school, because she had an avid feeling and desire and need to educate herself. So she was constantly reading and constantly wanting more knowledge, and was becoming not just more knowledgeable about the world, but was also becoming much more psychically in tune and aware, because she actually had some very powerful abilities of manifestation. And that, as a child, and wanting to be in movies and wanting to be a model and wanting all of these different things, that she actually brought it into her life. And when she did bring it into her life, she didn't know how to cope and know how to deal with it. She didn't have those coping mechanisms because of how she was brought up in a very difficult time, in all sorts of different foster homes and an orphanage, and her mother had mental health issues, and the fact that she had been molested and awful things had happened to her. She didn't have the correct coping mechanisms, and she was scared. She didn't want to be exactly like her mother. She didn't know how to cope with anything. But she knew that death wasn't the answer. She knew that talking about things was the answer, because she was seeking out the help. She was seeking out the help of doctors. She was talking to doctors. They were giving her medicine to take. You know, they were telling her to stop drinking. And she did her best to stop drinking, but mixing the alcohol with some of the meds that she was taking wasn't the right thing to do, and mixing the meds that she was taking with painkillers was a bad idea too. She didn't know that. She just knew that she had a pain in her head and she wanted to make her headache go away. And you see a whole bunch of bottles, you know, which one do you take? You know, let's take this one. This one's supposed to work for headaches, right? And pop it in your mouth. But, you know, clearly, you know, when you look it up, it says, you know, death by overdose or suicide, but I don't actually think that's the case. And I'm wondering how many other people feel the same way. And I think that Marilyn Monroe truly deserves justice. So if we can find some people that actually know the truth to come forward to actually get her the justice that she so deserves, that would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button or the subscribe button, that would be awesome too. That would